All right, all right, all right. Says we are live. Let's check it out. Salute to the chat. Welcome to another episode of Game Dog Talk. It is Thursday, episode 32, and we have special guests in the building. Of course, we have the brother Ram. Welcome down, Ram. What's up, Ram? How you doing?
All right, man. Shit, chilling. Still at work, but I'm here, man. We gonna keep all scratching like a dog with ticks. You feel me?
There you go. Good having
Indeed.
you, Ram.
Yes,
Shit,
indeed.
it's good having you.
Yes, and of course we have the legendary schoolboy, Mr. Richard Garcia. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite, and I'm good to go, man. Just
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
So, yeah, we're gonna talk today a little bulldog talk. One of the topics, um, someone asked me to talk about here. Let me pull this up here. Somebody asked me to talk about was, should I breed my 4-year-old scatterbred bitch? Okay, he has a 4-year-old scatterbred bitch, and I don't know. I haven't seen the pedigree, so I don't know exactly what he mean by scatterbred.
yeah,
But he's saying she's scatterbred, and he didn't have intentions on breeding her. But everybody's telling him he should breed her because of dangers of disease. If he doesn't breed her or getting her fixed, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so have you guys ever run into any issues with females you didn't breed and health conditions that could come across like what's that called? What's it called? Pymetra?
Pymethra or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah. You ever
No,
run into anything like that?
I never did. The thing is, if health is one of the main issues with the dog. Health, parasite free, worm free, and all that. And there's debate over spaying and neutering. And you got to think of the people that are pushing that agenda. They don't want you to breed dogs. They don't want to have dogs around. And I'm not saying that there aren't health problems that can come up, but with healthy dogs there's health problems that can come up. So I'm not an advocate of spay and neuter. I never did it. And for me, if I wasn't going to breed a female, it's 2 weeks out of the year, twice, 2 times out of the year for 2 weeks. It's an inconvenience. You keep them from getting bred. That's it. But I never had any health problems. I had one female that got a uterine infection that was cleared up with antibiotics. But there's people say if you don't breed them, something can happen. Well, I don't know. My dogs lived to an old age, and I never had that issue. But if there does, other than something like cancer, or if you have inherent, like degenerative heart disease or something like that, if the dog's healthy, there's nothing's going to happen to him. As far as the scatter breeding goes, you know, the term scatter breeding means junk, basically. It
Right.
doesn't mean 3 or 4 way crosses, or even 5, 6 way crosses, because most of the famous breeders, including Tudor, Heinzel, you name them, Lapasset, Carver, all of them, their family of dogs generate from 4, 5, 6 different bloodlines. And what they do is they breed these bloodlines together that they like, or certain dogs that they like from different bloodlines. And then to create a family of dogs, you breed all the offspring from all those bloodlines over generations, and they become related. So if he considers his female scatterbred, if she's quality and she comes from quality dogs, then there's a good chance that she can produce. It all goes down. What do you mean by scatterbreed? If it's a bunch of junk or dogs that are not of quality behind it, then she's probably not going to produce. If he likes her a lot, he can use her as a foundation female, and through line breeding and inbreeding, he can key on her as a foundation for his family of dogs. You know
Right. Okay.
that just
Okay.
it all just depends. A lot of questions there, but if they're good, because you're breeding individuals, basically. The bloodlines matter, pedigree, all that matters, but it don't matter. Those things in the past don't matter unless the dog itself is a good one. So you always focus on the dog first. You know, if the dog works out, we used to say if the dog works out, then the pedigree matters. If it don't, then it doesn't matter. It could be off a Jeep, it could be off a bully son. It don't matter. The dog's no good. You know.
Right.
So that's kind of how you look at it.
True indeed. What you say, Ram?
Shit, I say shit. If he like her, obviously he do. You might as well go on and breed her, bro. I mean, like Mr. Garcia was saying, you know what is scatterbred? You know, like is she junk or is she, you know, bred up with just 4 or 5 different lines of good dogs? And shit, I would breed her, man, and you know, take the chance. Plus, you know, good scatterbred dog, you could if she any good, just breed her to different males that she bred up with in her own pedigree and see what you get, you know.
That's the best way to
And
do it.
yeah, and like you were saying, you know, you can inbreed on that real heavy and not have to worry about too much little birth defects like undershot, cork tail, bow leg, all that shit that come with breeding too tight. All those bulldog traits start popping out. So I would take a chance on her. Obviously, he kept her for 4 years, so shit, she probably not a
for a
piece of
reason.
shit. I would breed
Yeah,
her. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
It's
would breed her. Fuck it.
if he knows her pedigree, you know, and there's a technique called stacking, and you bring, let's say it's a 4-way cross, you can bring those bloodlines to the front. You bring one, you know, you breed her to something that she's already related to in the past, you know, from one of the crosses, and then you do that, and then you can bring another one of the crosses forward, and pretty soon they're just line bred dogs, and like I said, the offspring from that, if you breed half brother, half sister, or you loose line breed, or you create another outcross, once you take the offspring from all them dogs together and breed them together, they all related. Some closer, some farther away, but they all related.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I agree with you guys. Salute to SBC Kennels. He says pick one of the lines in her and go back into that. I would say too. I agree with you. I think that if you got the dog, you like the dog, you know, and you know, I mean, I think the pyometra stuff is like pretty much like 1 out of every 4 dogs that lives to old age gets it. So I think, well, according to the reports, one out
Right.
of every 4 dogs gets it. So if you want to avoid it, you don't want to spade the dog or something. If you think the dog is not a good dog, you just maybe you got her and she didn't turn out for you, and you just like her in other ways. You know, maybe you just got a sensitive heart and she's a good pet or something like that. Then hey, man, just go ahead and spade her, get her neutered, whatever they call it. You know, but if you like the dog and she's a functioning dog, go ahead and breed her, man. Just breed to a good stud that maybe if you think she's scatterbred and she's all over the place, try to find something within that that's the best stud you can find available to something like SBC said, and take it back to that. That's what I would do. And then like Mr. Garcia and Ram said, just you can line breed off of that, you know, just have you a nice little family. That's the beginning of your yard right there, you know.
Exactly. Could be a foundation dog, you know, because once you key on her or whatever, if she becomes, you know, your brood bitch or whatever, and her influence is in future generations through her offspring and her grandchildren and like that, then you're just focusing on her. The pedigree behind her, it's not the focus. You know what I mean? It's like you know, like Dirty Mary. You know, she's like a 3-4 way cross. Well, Boyle's just focused on her. All her pups, you know, all the males she was bred to, he bred those pups together. And you got, you know, except for the Bobby Jr. Boomerang stuff, you know, Grand Champion Queen of Hearts, all the other ones are related in some way or another. So she was his focus. She's the mainstay of his family of dogs, and everything, almost everything, comes off of her.
Right. Okay. Another question I got was how to deal with it's a guy who has a dog that has what he believes to be ringworms. He said, is there How would you guys deal with ringworms? Is there any natural remedies? I suspect he's trying to prevent going to the vet, but I always suggest building a relationship with your vet if you can.
Right.
Build a
Right.
relationship with your vet. Take the dog up there. I really don't. I'm not a fan of people who. No disrespect to the guy who wrote me this, but I'm not a fan of people who got dogs and don't really want to put no money into the dogs. Dogs cost money, man.
Yeah, they do, and you ain't gonna get rich with dogs. We used to say there's no money in dogs, and not as that's a stonewall statement, but you do have to put money into them, and it's gonna cost you, and it usually costs you more in the beginning than it does later on. But ringworms are visible. They're round, and they it looks like a round circle, like, and it comes off of the skin. They could be like a 1/4 inch high, and they have a kind of a dip in the middle. But there's medicine for that. It's not really life threatening unless you got them all over the dog and just eats them up. But I don't know if that type of medicine, I forgot what the name of it, but I don't know if it's available over the counter. So he might end up having to take the dog to the vet anyways, unless maybe he can look it up online and see if there's a wholesale that sells it, wholesale business that sells it.
Right. Yeah, ringworm is pretty much just like it's a fungus. It's a skin. It's not actually a worm. It's not actually a worm. It's a skin fungus. So, what I found to work, I had a dog once that had ringworms. And what I did was I just washed them real good, and I used apple cider vinegar cut with 50% water and cleaned the area with that. And after a few weeks, it went away. But that was my situation,
Right.
Well,
there's a lot of home remedies. There's a lot of home remedies, that can work. When I was a kid, my dad was involved with the cattle industry, and you ain't gonna pay a vet to come out every time you got something wrong with a cow. You go broke. So you learn to doctor them yourself. Old horse doctor or old country doctor, they call it. And something like that. I could see the apple cider vinegar working because of the acid, and plus it would clean the bacteria off of there. There's a cream I use for skin diseases. It's called darn it, I forgot the name, but it's for incontinent people. Older people that have to wear diapers and stuff. And that stuff clears up just about every skin problem you can have.
Okay.
It's called New Cal or something like that.
Right.
I forget, but you can look up incontinent cream, and that you can buy over the counter. It looks like a big toothpaste tube. It costs you about $8 to $10.
Okay. What's your thoughts on that, Ram? On ringworm?
Yeah, New Cal all the way. The apple cider vinegar trick worked too. Apple cider vinegar, baking soda, iodine helps. I would go with straight iodine, put it directly to the site. New Cal for sure.
Probably use a betadine, soap or something like that. It's just a matter of killing the fungus and then waiting for it to go away.
So would he have to change anything about would he have to change anything about the bedding or where the dog lays, or is that just random?
Yep, I would. I'd change everything out.
Yeah, I would keep that clean, of course.
Yeah, and then I would spray with the.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's all right. I would spray it with I used to use like a Clorox and water solution to disinfect everything. I'd spray the ground. I just soak it. Move the dog out of there. Take the bedding out, spray the house inside out, underneath, top and bottom. If it's on a chain or kennel, it probably picked up something where it's living, So if you sanitize all that, it probably kill the ringworm that's in that area.
Shout out to Tasha Brooks. I see you in the building, sister. She says bleach would dry it out. She said bleach. I ain't never tried that. I'm scared of bleach. Tasha Brooks, she says bleach would dry it out.
Yeah, that's what I used.
Okay.
We were rough back then. I bleached about once a week, everything,
Yeah.
right? And then I used 7 Dust, and I just dumped it all over the dog in their bedding, man. It makes them cough and spit, but I never had no after effects from none of that,
Right.
So some people are scared to use it because they think it's going to hurt the dog, but like I said, if they're pretty much healthy, they have a good immune system. It's not going to hurt them.
Bulldogs is durable anyway.
They durable, man. They tough. Some of the stuff we put them back in the day, they survive.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
survive.
All right.
I didn't have too many health problems because I'm not a vet, and I'm not a doctor. So my thing was preventative maintenance. I tried to do that as much as possible.
Oh, let me ask you about heartworms. This is a personal question. I just thought about heartworms. All right. Every time I go to the vet, they give me heartworm medication. I've never actually used it. I never had an issue with it. But do you think it's necessary to I'm in Wisconsin. I'm up here. It's cold up here and stuff like that. I'm not in the deep south or anything, but do you think it's necessary for me to start using some heartworm medication?
Well, the ivermectin is a heartworm preventative.
Right.
So that's what I use. I gave it once a month. If it's hot and muggy, I know even up in the Northeast, Great Lake area, people don't understand. It gets cold as hell up there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but during the summer it gets muggy as hell, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's hot. You want to talk about heat, and they talk about the South, and it does get hot and muggy there, but it's just as bad in the Great Lakes area. So I don't know about that area having heartworms, and you can't give ivermectin if they have heartworms already; it'll kill them.
Right.
If they don't, and you use it as a preventative, I used to give it once a month. You don't have to go to the vet. You can get it at the Tractor Supply or whatever.
Okay.
Or even online. But that's the heartworm preventative. Most everybody uses ivermectin.
Once a month. Okay. Ram, what you feel about heartworm, Ram? You give your dogs heartworm medication, and how often do you use it if you do?
I only treat for heartworms because it's so dry out here in Arizona, bro.
Oh yeah,
I
you
only
ain't
treat
gonna.
for that. Yeah, twice a year just to be on the safe side. So I don't really deal with heartworms. We got to deal with more hook round than anything. But heartworms not so much because we don't get a lot of moisture like that. So yeah, heartworms never been an issue for me. So I just treat twice a year just to stay on the safe side.
Okay, so heartworms is basically transmitted through mosquitoes, right?
Yeah, mosquitoes gather where it's a lot of moisture at. Since it be so dry out here, unless monsoon season come, which really ain't shit, and then we get our rainy season in the winter. That's why I just do it twice a year, for those times we do get moisture that's sticking around.
Okay, well I definitely need to use it then because I get mosquitoes like hell out this motherfucker in the summertime. Mosquitoes because I got a lot of trees around me, and the pools of water. I got like a little pond, and mosquitoes they latch onto that water.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start using that.
Try not to have standing water in your dog's area, or near them, if you can.
Right.
Because that's what mosquitoes thrive on, But Arizona, tried doing dogs back in the day in Arizona during the summertime. Ain't gonna happen, man. People say, I don't care about the heat. I don't care about the heat. They don't live in Arizona.
Ram was telling me about
different. That. Yeah, this shit, it's like somebody cut the blow dryer on, a giant blow dryer, and just left it on, bro. Like, that's why I tell tree huggers too, though. That's why I got a slat mill, because in the summertime, I can't fucking walk my dogs on the street, night or day, because the ground is fucking at least 120 degrees, bro. Like, it gets hot as fuck out here in the summer, man.
It is normal during the summer, 114 easy, up to 120, 122 sometimes.
That shit.
You ain't seen heat till you've been in fucking Arizona.
I was in Phoenix. I was in Phoenix Airport. In the airport, okay, going to San Diego or Oakland, one of them. and I was in the airport in Phoenix, and it was hot as shit. And the lady told me she saw me sweating. She said, "You not from out here, are you?" I said, "No." I said, "No." I said, "Why so hot in the airport?" She said, "No, go outside, and then you'll see what hot is." I said, "Fuck this shit. Fuck that. No way, no how."
Man, you would have stepped outside and you would have seen what real heat is, bro. And you'd be
Yeah,
like, I don't know
yeah,
how nobody fucking lives
yeah.
out here. So
Exactly,
you go up to
exactly.
Cleek's place for AADR shows. It's fucking hot up there.
Just hot, and that's a little bit up north. It's a little bit cooler, but it's still hot. Don't matter. You go down Phoenix, South Tucson, all that. You'll die, man. If you ain't used to it, you won't leave the car. You won't leave the house. Air conditioning,
Fuck that shit. I
yeah,
can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
used to
that
this
heat, just the
Wisconsin
heat
weather,
alone
man.
is a good enough game test for your dog. If he can survive a summer, he might be worth feeding.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a good measure. Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this. Let's talk some game dog gossip, man. Game dog gossip. Don't nobody steal that name out there, y'all. Game dog gossip. Um, Ram will be back. He must have fell out real quick. But Redboy, um, one of the brothers hit me up and asked me to talk about this, which was Redboy, the true breeding of Redboy, and then we're gonna move into some other famous dogs. But like, there's rumors because the pedigree that's on Redboy basically says he got a lot of Kobe in him and other things, but like, there's some confusion as to whether or not he was really bred like that, or if anybody actually knows the true breeding of Redboy.
Right.
Um,
Right.
my thing is, hey, I don't know how he was bred. I wasn't there, but he obviously had created a lineage of dogs that are still producing today. You know,
Right.
huge name. Just I don't think he produced much that came right off of him directly, but the lineage is amazing. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts, Mr. Garcia, on Red Boy's breeding, or from your day, what you heard about his breeding or
Right.
anything like that?
Well, I've heard it all, and I understand why there's controversy. There's a lot of different reasons why. One is he was a red nose, right? His Colby dog ancestry, he's double bred on Tramp, or I forgot the dog's name. That dog was Brindle, right? And he's inbred off that dog. That's number one. Second thing is that dog quit. Now he may have been an old dog or whatever, but you usually don't get that kind of production over a dog that quit. But you could, so take that out. He's from North Carolina. That's where the old family red nose is from.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard people say that he didn't have litter mates. I heard people say they seen him with his litter. You know, he was a street dog. Somebody found him. They changed papers. Jack Kelly even wrote an article on it. That when I think it was Bass, when Bass got him from Teal just wrote a pedigree out, and it's not the correct pedigree. I don't know what the truth is, but he was a producer, and if you inbreed like that, you can get red nosed dogs no matter what color your dogs are. It's just a recessive trait that comes out in the breed, so that's possible too. And he threw champions that were triple bred off of him. He's the sire, he's the grandsire and great grandsire. Champion Hog Dog was one of them. And there's a lot of what's strange too is a lot of those breedings that a lot of the females he was bred to were Colby females. So
Right.
in the end, like you said, who knows? But we know that he can produce, and he's one of the few bloodlines that you can heavily inbreed, and you still get game dogs, man, and good athletes.
Right.
So I don't know the truth. I've heard almost every story you can think of. I tend to agree that he could be old family red nose. You know, and just because of the way he looks, and some of them, like Big Red Mama, she was inbred off Redboy, and she was a red nose too. So there's that. But to be honest, I really don't know. I don't think anybody really knows unless they were actually there. Maybe they did find him off the street, or maybe he did come from Hemphill bloodlines or something like that. I don't know, but there's no doubt he produced.
Before I go to Ram, that's interesting because somebody knows something, because everybody I know who has real old family red-nosed dogs that have really preserved dogs that are functioning, that they use for hog hunting or whatever, they always, when they want to cross out their dogs, they go to Redboy.
Yeah.
And now they got to know something. They just click. They click good,
Yeah, it's consistent, and it you can breed a lot of different ways, and it still throws. And it could be those are results of crosses, but it's also bred to old family red nose stuff too, So there could be that commonality. I don't know. What you think, Ram?
Shit, man. I kind of follow what you saying, like his dad a brindle dog and he inbred on that teal dog, but he come out red nose. I mean, it happens, but who's the fucking say?
Yeah.
All I know is that shit work. You can put it with Eli, you can put it with goddamn Cotton Bullet, you can put it with anything, and you're gonna get magic. Like not recent, but in recent history, did a breeding. I took my G Redboy Jocko male and bred it to a pure Kobe bitch that was worth being bred, and them dogs were phenomenal. They was real durable, thick skin, like it almost seemed like they was like dried out, dehydrated. Their skin was so thick, you could just grab it and it'll just stay right there.
Yeah.
Like that real old school, hard bones, hard teeth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good qualities in those dogs. The old Kobe stuff. So I can see, why they would have slapped that pedigree on him, because that shit works. He could be bred like that though. Who fucking knows? He could be bred exactly how it says, but it's too fucking late now. All I know is the shit works.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Work with even work with paladin blood, That's old.
Yeah, like just shit you wouldn't think it would work with. You could slap that shit together, you get a good strain of it, and you off to the races, bro.
Bam.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Eli Redboy dogs, that shit look like shit on paper, but all those dogs were phenomenal dogs.
Yeah.
Right. Trust me, I cried many a nights off of Eli and Redboy dogs. Shit, it ain't supposed to work, but it does work somehow.
Well, they cover all the bases. They got mouth, they got heart, they got ability. It's hard to. If you got a good one, man, it's hard to beat them. Back in the day, speaking back in the day, everything I speak up is back in the day. This is all, what we're talking, which is nice, is it's historical purposes, for education, for knowledge, and that's good. That keeps the history of the breed alive, and, we don't condone anything, but the point is that we can't lose this information. That's the reason I do a lot of what I do, because it needs to be kept. There are very few people wrote it down, so we can keep it going that way. But yeah, Redboy's one of them ones. Like I said, they're consistent, and that's what I look for in breeding: consistency, rather than looking for, killers, a whole bunch of them. You ain't gonna get that. Those are anomalies. They're freaks of nature. You get them every once in a while, where you get a bad motherfucker, and you just accept it, whether it's nature doing that or whatever. It kind of keeps you grounded and keeps you, trying to do better. And every once in a while, you're gonna get, or you get a few of them, But what you want is consistency. You want good, solid, all-around athletes, good temperament, good behavior, good mothers. The dams have to be good mothers. There's a lot of standards that I have that and they ain't new, and I didn't invent them, but they're just you'll do better sticking to them than you will if you just breeding haphazardly or breeding on pedigrees.
Right. Absolutely. And shout out to Redboy dogs. Hey, y'all smash the like button. Everybody in the building, hit that like button. Let's get them likes all the way up. Spread the word. Share the video on Facebook and all your social media. Got some good game dog talk going on over here. But I think that shout out to Redboy dogs and whoever's still breeding it because it's definitely one of the best bloodlines to survive the test of time. You know, it's a proven line. You know, so regardless of how it was originally bred, the dogs are still producing. They still go good with other things. So shout out to Redboy dogs. Um, Another dog I want to ask you about, Mr. Garcia, was Honey Bunch. Honey Bunch, I've heard so many rumors about Honey Bunch dogs. Now, I'm gonna tell you the story. My grandfather used to breed heavy boomerang dogs. That in his day he called them Dabo dogs.
Right.
But heavy boomerang dogs, and he swore. The rumor in his day was that Boomerang and Honey Bunch had the same seer. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just, whatever. Yeah. But he believes that Honey Bunch was not off of Bully Son. That was just some shit Carver did because Bully Son dogs were hot at the time, and he wanted to sell puppies, but they really came off of the same father as Boomerang.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Boomerang's something.
Well, most people say off of Ironhead.
Yeah, Ironhead. That's right, Ironhead.
Right. And there's even question about Boomerang. And
right.
I don't know if you want to get into that, but
yeah. Go ahead.
I got some stories about that too. There's people that swear that Boomerang's off of a dog named Gimp, Kennard's Gimp, which might be Ed Crenshaw's Gimp.
Mm-hmm.
And then the female, I forgot her name, but it's a Stu Fowler stuff,
mm-hmm.
and the Ed Crenshaw stuff. And I don't know, most people back then that they put Ironhead on everything, so he must have been bred a lot, The thing is them dogs, even Honey Bunch's bottom side and Boomerang, Pistol, Ironhead, a lot of them dogs, and the Ed Crenshaw dog, Reno and Gimp and all that, they're related. If Bully Son is her sire, then she's taken after the bottom side because she doesn't show really any traits of Bully Son except for maybe her intensity and her mouth,
Right.
But she ain't built like them dogs. She don't look like them dogs, So that's the question. There are a lot of people swear it ain't her, and I can agree with that because the Bully Son, regardless of how he was bred or what females he was bred to, there's some influence, whether it's a slope to the head or the long ears, or the big teeth of the style, go to the stifle and the chest and all that, real rough.
Right.
Which, Honey Bunch did, but it's not. She wasn't like, from what I've been told, it wasn't like the Bully Son dogs do. So there's really no influence of her from Bully Son. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's why people question it. Plus, Carver would flat out say he breed his dogs however he want, and if you want a pedigree, he's going to give it to you. Maybe right, maybe not. He don't care. He got a kick out of it, fooling people. He just wasn't going to tell people how his dogs were bred.
Right.
And if most people, they didn't care, it came from Carver. It's a good dog. They're going to do it. They're going to use them and they're going to breed them. But I always questioned it myself because there's not really, just looking at them, there's not really traits of that, She even has a roach back, and
right.
Bully Son don't. He didn't really throw a roach back dog. They're more straight back,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to that, But what is a sire? Who knows? They all can't be off of Ironhead. Everybody says Ironhead this and Ironhead produced her, and he produced Champion Rocky, and he produced Pistol and Boomerang and Nell and Fox and all. You know, there's even rumors that Boomerang's litter, you know, all them ain't related. You know, Fox is off of a different male, and you know, stuff like that. Who
Hey,
knows? You have to know their birth date to get something kind of close. You know.
right. And you know, before I go to Ram on that, speaking of that, because we talk about this a lot over here. Have you heard of dogs? Well, I know that they do this, but I mean, how frequent was it in your day where people would take a bitch in heat and breed it to 2 or 3 different stud dogs?
Yeah. Yeah. Floyd used to do that. And you know, they didn't have testing back then, so they basically just went on how the pups look. You know, if they look like the one sire, it's off of him. If they look like the other one, it's off of him. If they take after the mama, then who's to say? But yeah, they did that. As long as there's a time period, you know, like it has to be done the same day or next day in the morning. It has to be real close, you know, so that there's still eggs that can be ovulated. But yeah, you can have litters from 2 different males.
Right. Yeah. I seen dogs like that from real good breedings that I wanted to get, but you know, I just didn't. You know, if I got the dog, I would have to get it tested because it was 2 males that were good dogs, but I wanted specifically off of one male that was a grand champion, and one was a grand champion, and the other male that they bred her to at the same time was the son of the grand champion. And I'm like, look, you know, so I'm like, look, you know, it's good, it's all the same blood, but listen, if I'm gonna spend $3,000, I want to know what the fuck I'm buying. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and we have that ability to do that now with testing. You know, they can. You know, the thing with, you know, when you have pups, the reason you can do that is because each, you know, the pups ain't twins and they ain't triplets, they ain't quadruplets, none of like that. Each pup is an individual. They each have their own sac. If you end up having 2 pups, which is rare, in one sac, then those 2 are twins. They're from the same sire. But other than that, that's how come you can put 2 males on a female, because each pup is individual on its own. It's not like humans, you know, where the embryo splits up into 3 or 4 children. Dogs don't do that. It's 1 egg per pup. So you can breed two males, and as long as there's embryos there still viable, even if some have already been, you know, produced from one dog's sperm, there's still other eggs in there, and the second dog's sperm can impregnate, you know, can enter those, and then you got multiple, you know, you got pus from 2 different males.
Right. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button. Make sure you drop this video, share the video in all of your Facebook groups and everywhere you know Gamedog men tend to be. Let's do that. Welcome down, Ram. What's up, Ram? What's your take on it, man?
I honestly don't think Honey Bunch was off of Bully, son, just because I had the good opportunity to see like a lot of Frank Roca and Deseret inbred Honey Bunch dogs up close and personal. And the more inbred they got, the further they look like Honey Bunch or Bully Son or anything. Where I seen you could breed, you know, like our gang, generations of Bully Son and still get those consistent traits, be it in a buckskin, black mass form, a liver nose, chocolate form, all the way to a black nose dog. And the occasional white cow patch was from inbred Bully Son. And I never seen none of that shit through the Desert Rat stuff. They was totally different dogs. Like
them dogs start coming out white, you know.
yeah, they come out white, just all white, like Blanco did, you know. They come out fucked up sometimes. Like, you know, I just never seen the Bully Son nothing in those dogs at all. Be it if they were outcrossed, because I bred, you know, like Red Jack, we had to some of that shit. And it wasn't, you know, it just wasn't the same. It wasn't like when we bred them to a Jeep, bitch. You know, we got good Jeep Redboy Jocko dogs. Breed into that shit, and, you know, we get average Desert Rat dogs, you know. So I don't think Honey Bunch was off of Bully Son at all.
Yeah, true. Hell, he might not even been alive when she was conceived. It's hard to say. Like I said, you got to go. You have to know the
Yeah,
birth
if you
date.
can't find the birth date, you pretty
Yeah,
much fucked.
yeah. You just guessing. But I tend to agree with Ram. It just they don't unless you breed it to a bully son blood. They don't come out that way. If you cross it to something else, like he was saying, or you line breed it, like Frank Roca stuff, or even the oldest stuff and all that, they don't show no bully son traits. They really don't come
Right.
out black in color unless you breed that stuff to a black female.
Exactly, exactly.
The Honey Bunch threw
Yep.
black dogs because she was bred to Rascal and Oso Negro. Oso Negro was brindle, but there's black in him. His brother was black, but Rascal's black. But if you breed her to breed that stuff, and it's not a black dog, you ain't gonna get no black dogs out of it.
No, at all. And you're right about that because we bred some of that old Frank Roca stuff to our Mr. Hanky dog, and that's the only time I see black dogs off of that blood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird how that is. Black is a dominant color, and
Exactly. So
even in the Rascal Honey Bunch breeding, there were buckskin and red dogs in the pups too. There was a couple of black ones, but the other ones were buckskin and red. So you got a black sire, supposedly a black grandsire, and most of the pups don't come out black.
Yeah. I didn't hear what Ram said because I had to take a quick phone call. Ram, could you mind repeating what you were saying, brother?
Oh, about Honey Bunch?
Yeah, about Honey Bunch, yeah.
Oh, I was just saying I had the opportunity to see a lot of Frank Roca and Deseret dogs up close, and those is, line bred and inbred Honey Bunch dogs. And never once did I see a fucking inkling of a bully son dog in those dogs, man.
Yeah.
At all. They didn't move the same. Their conformation wasn't the same. They was real durable dogs, but you look at Bully Son, he was a pretty big dog, You
Right.
at least gonna get some range out of those dogs, and those
Yeah.
dogs wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I got a dog over here named Honey Love. Ram know how she bred up. And she is like over fucking, I don't know, 30 times 30 times Stonewall, she's like hellified Stonewall breeding, you know what I mean? But she don't act, she's a very good dog so far as a puppy. You know what I mean? I don't know what she's gonna turn out to be, but her mother is a good dog, but no traits of like a bully son dog that I typically saw from bully son dogs or anything like that. Just different. It's just a difference. She's to me, she's actually more reminiscent of the heavy boomerang dogs, you know what I mean, or other Carver dogs that I saw growing up. Now maybe that's in my mind, or I don't know,
Yeah. There's a lot of it's the Ed Crenshaw influence. Them dogs are short, squatty, long. The females they bred them to Bully Son and Eli Jr. More Bully Son, but like Long's Baby, Long's Tuffy, Art's Missy. They on the shorter, squattier side, and that's where the Bully Sons get that confirmation from, because Bully Son and Eli, them dogs were tall. They had leg under them and long. So who's to say?
Big dogs too, big dogs.
Yeah, they were. It's funny. They're all of them, even Brandy, their sister, and I think the other one was Lupe or something like that. Or there's another sister that went to Mexico. They're all over 50 pounds. They're Eli was a 37-pound match dog,
right?
And their mama was a 30-pound female, and you got 50-pound dogs coming out of it.
Yeah.
Which again, that could happen, but it makes you second guess. It makes you wonder.
And they used to all be, well, according to my experience, I don't know about yours, Mr. Garcia, you can explain, but from my experience, old school Eli dogs from the 80s, when I used to see Eli dogs in the 80s, they were always 50 plus pound dogs and very man aggressive too.
Yeah.
With a lot of mouth.
Yeah, that's their trait. Yep. Yep. The good thing, and I've done it myself, you know, whether they're inbred, outcross, whatever. If you got Eli blood or Bully Son, Eli Jr. stuff, they're gonna have mouth, or they're gonna, even if they're inbred, they don't have mouth, they're gonna throw it, and that's what I used it for. And they're strong, durable, tough, thick bone, big teeth, scream in the corner, scratch hard, all that. But you get that man eater stuff, man. It's prevalent in there. I don't care what anybody says. You know, you can breed away from it and have it lessen it, but every once in a while it's going to come out.
Right.
A lot of them are cold dogs. A lot of them are late starters. You know, and back then, like you're saying, a lot of them were big dogs, man. I had a bunch of them. You know, from Bobby Hall, Ken Click, Jerry Branham.
Clemens had some big ones too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can bring the size down on them. You know, it can be done. But a lot of them were big because they come from big dogs. You know, and they're most of them. You know, they resemble. If nothing else, they have. You know, they got hound dog ears and a slope to their forehead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's prevalent too. And so there's good and bad, just like everything else. But with them man eaters, if you ain't careful, they can be a liability. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a
And
dog straight from Bobby Hall, and that bitch didn't like nothing but me. And that
yeah,
was only sometime. Like she was a good dog, but I had to put her down.
yeah,
She was just
yeah,
too man aggressive. Like,
yeah,
and she was
yeah.
too big to be trying to fight. That's like fighting Debo. Fuck
If
that.
you can't, yeah, if you can't physically control them, you're gonna be in trouble. And I learned how to handle man eaters by having them dogs. But at the same time, that's why I don't have them. I wouldn't tolerate it. You know, you can have good dogs without that trait, regardless of the
Yeah.
bloodline. You know,
Well, on a
it's
side
not.
note, though, the most man aggressive dog I had on the yard once was old Jake the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker boy was a real man eater. Good
whoa,
Yeah,
producing
yeah.
whoa!
dog,
You
good
talking about Jake?
dog, but
You
just
talking about the Jake the Snake or one of your dogs?
no, yeah, the Jake the Snake.
Woo! Okay, Ram.
Yeah, that was Red Jack Daddy. We had them both on the yard at the same time. We was just breeding the Jake though. That motherfucker, he didn't like nobody but me and my homeboy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's because we smoke weed. We used to go out there and blow the weed on him first. Then be cool.
Yeah,
But
he
that
like you
motherfucker,
better because of that. You know.
yeah, he tolerated me because of that. He always know I had something for him, so he ain't try to bite me too many times. But that was a big scary fucking dog,
Yeah, yeah. And
like a
there's a
real
difference
man
between
stopper.
a man biter and a man eater. The man eaters are dangerous. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
they will hurt
Yeah, I
you.
could deal with a man biter. You
Yeah,
can just get a
yeah,
quick handle high up on the neck.
yeah, yep,
Straighten them out. But yeah,
yeah.
the man eaters, they ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
No, and
Yeah,
they'll
that's
bite you for any reason or no reason at all, man. You gotta really, you gotta know the signs when they're gonna react. You gotta snatch them up before they react. And most people are oblivious to it. It's real subtle sometimes, but I can tell. Even my kids, because they raise around dogs, they can tell when the dog's gonna bite. You know, and they're real quick. It'll teach you to have fast hands. That's for god darn sure. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, for real. You had the fastest hands in the West. Quick draw McGraw fucking with the man biters.
That's right.
yeah. See, I can't deal with it, man, because I used to have. Hey, Ram, go on mute for me real quick, Ram. I got a little feedback on you, bro.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, I used to have a real big Presa Canario and a beautiful dog. I'm talking about beautiful. I mean, this dog was huge, muscular, looked like a giant game bred dog. But you got all the problems that came along with that because I got him when he was an adult. And one of my homeboys had the dog and he said, "Hey man, this dog, he sold me on this bullshit. Oh yeah, you just he's a good dog, man. I'll give him to you for free. I'll give him to you for free, man. I just don't want him to go to a bad home. All this bullshit. And I get this dog. I go over there. I bring some chicken leg quarters, feed him. He pretty cool. I take him home. And the next day I go out to feed him, and this dog is trying to destroy me. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I got your food, But this dog is like 130-pound dog. That's too big to be fucking around with,
Nah, you can't. Nah, he'll kill
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So
He'll
I
kill
said,
you.
okay.
Your buddy was just giving you his problem. That's all he was
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah, and he probably listening right now. Some bitch. Yeah, he
Some
listening
bitch.
right now. I
Yeah.
took that dog and I fucking sold it, man. But I told the people I sold it to, I said it's a very man aggressive dog. You might want to use this as a guard dog or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I had the dog for like 3 days, man, and I got rid of it because I got kids. I can't fucking if a dog is
Nope.
gonna try to kill me and I'm feeding you, fuck you. Get out of here.
That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I've called dog just for growling at one of my kids, man. I will not
Absolutely,
tolerate it, you know.
for
And the
sure.
thing is, you know, you can have good dogs that don't do that, just as good or better. So why tolerate it? Because how it's bred, because it's this or that? No. I got kids, man. And that's why I
Absolutely.
got rid of all that bully son stuff. I had some good ones, you know, but not worth the trouble. It ain't worth the trouble, man.
Yes, D. Y'all keep
You know.
sharing these videos. We got 400 people in here sharing these videos in the Gamedog forums. Keep continue to do that. Thank y'all very much. Smash the like button as well. All right, let's go to another dog that there was a lot of rumors about, and that is the legendary Pitts General.
Mm,
Now we've heard that a lot of dogs are from that Pitts General dog. It's rumors that Indian Sunny stole the dog. Um, no, I'm not accusing nobody of nothing. I wasn't there.
right.
But they say Indian Sunny stole the dog, and they're saying that a lot of dogs, good dogs that came off Indian Sunny's yard, um, were come off of Pit General. Dogs like even dogs down to like what's that dog? Vengeance, Killer
Right.
Combine's Vengeance. They're
Right.
saying that dog was a Pit General dog, you know,
Hmm.
down from Pit General and shit like that, you know.
Right.
But we don't know for sure. What's your thoughts? Have you heard anything about that?
Well, I don't want to sound like a fucking asshole, but I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I know the story of them,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the person who's close to that, you know, he asked me not to make it public, and and so I have to honor that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was stolen, and think of it this way, guys. You know, everybody think about this. Somebody steals from you, or somebody uh, takes something from you. It's usually somebody that's close to you or somebody you know. Because how else are they going to get to the dog or in your house if they ain't related to you or they ain't friends with you or they don't know you good, right? Same is
Right.
true with Pit General. So someone close to Don Mayfield stole him. And he ended up, I'll say this, in the South, right? So there are a lot of dogs that were bred off of him. If Indian Sunny's pistol, you know, people say that Jesse's Midnight is off of Pit General. He can't be because there's like 20 years difference between
Right.
the time Pit General was stolen and Midnight was whelped. But his sire pistol, yeah, he could be off of him, you know. And there's other dogs with fake peds, you know, that are off of him. You know, there's the people that kept the pedigrees. They have them all over their pedigrees. You know, Pit General here, Pit General, Pit General, Pit General, all along the pedigrees. You know, but uh, but yeah, he was stolen. I don't know when he died. He probably, you know, you think about it, where he was at. He probably died of heartworm. You know, like a lot of them dogs did. White Rock did. You know, a lot of them famous dogs back then. Tombstone got heartworms. You know, he only lived till he was 6. So I don't think he was around a long time after he was stolen, maybe a few years, you know. But I doubt
Right.
that he lived to be an old dog. But yeah, he was stolen, you know, and he was definitely bred to. But here's the thing too. I don't know how good a producer he was. I know a few dogs that were off of him that were good, but not a bunch of them, you know. And I've
Right.
seen dogs bred down from that stuff, and they were hit and miss. Now that, you know, that's just from what information I have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were bad fucking dogs, man. You know, but I don't like I said, I don't know if he was bred a lot enough to say he was a good producer. He had the pedigree to be one, and the type of dog, you know. Bill Petrie, he's an old time dog guy. He was around at that time, right? And he was there when Pit General went into Freddie Jones' Black Bart,
Right.
And because he was friends with Freddie Jones, and even Don Mayfield told me this, you know, that Pit General ran over, he pulled a plug of meat off of Bart's shoulder, and the way Mayfield said, he goes, he swallowed it, you know. So I'm sitting there, I was a kid at the time. I go, well, Don, how do you know he swallowed it? He put his hands up. He goes, well, we didn't find it nowhere, you know. Basically saying the dog was a cannibal, which, you know, by all accounts he was.
Right.
So he was a great dog, you know, by anybody's standard. And it's just at that time, and even like nowadays, you know, people stealing dogs, man, people cheating people, there've been people shot over dogs, you know.
Right.
And it's a shame, because the dogs are the ones that suffer. You lose them, or somebody loses their whole livelihood over these damn dogs because, you know, something getting stolen, something. Even Giroux, somebody stole a dog from Andre Giroux. He shot the guy in the stomach, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he killed him or not, but he shot him. He just walked up to his door. The guy answered the door and he shot him. And that's public, you know, everybody knows that. But
right.
But there's no doubt, you know, those Jesse Rod dogs, they do resemble that look, you know. They got the short muzzle, you know, and the half drop ears, you know. And you know, he beat two good dogs. That Don Devine was there when Pit General went into Black Bart, and he really liked Black Bart. It's just that General got to him, and, you know, it's almost like you get, you know, first round in boxing, you know, you get a guy and they might be evenly matched, but one guy gets out there and boom, he lands a heavy punch, knocks the guy down. Now it takes him 2-3 rounds to recuperate, and he never does, and he gets beat at the end. You know, that's kind of what General did to Bart. Bart could never get going, man. You know, he would just be behind from the beginning.
Right. Salute to Afro Rican G in the super chat. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you everybody who's sharing this video. Smash the like button though. Make sure y'all do that ASAP Rocky. Hey, Ram, what you think about the Pit General situation?
Shit, man, my phone about to die, bro. I'm on like 2%, man. But
oh man,
shit, who fucking knows, bro? Yeah, man, who fucking knows, bro? That shit's so long ago, but I don't know. I would doubt that, you know, the Vengeance is down from that shit, because, you know, Vengeance himself was good on the juice, but he really didn't produce, you know, for as inbred as he was, and as many times as they inbred, you know, him back to his offspring, just average shit. So, you know, I think the truth always shows up in the breedings with a lot of these dogs. But again, who fucking knows? Like Mr. Garcia said, he might not have been fucking bred enough to be considered a good producer. And you just blind breeding off the shit that's out there. You feel me?
Facts.
But hey, man, I appreciate you coming through, Mr. Garcia, man. That's a good look. I'm out here in the middle of work still. Phone about to die, man.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Ram. Don't worry about it, man. Just do your thing, brother. I'm gonna ask Mr. Garcia a couple more questions, and I'm gonna get up out of here myself. You know.
All right. Salute to everybody in the chat, man, and a big shout out to old Mr. Garcia, man, for coming through and blessing us, man. Y'all be good.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Salute.
Salute, Ram. Yeah, Mr. Garcia, another dog. I don't know if I asked you this before in another video, but another dog there's so much speculation about, and people just trip about, is the Zebo dog. You know, Zebo supposedly from Lonzo breeding, but some people swear that he's a Eli dog, or he's from that lineage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know, but I know that Zebo didn't produce the way people thought he should when taken back to Lonzo dogs. But I mean, I don't even know if he produced that well taking anything. But he produced some dogs, but It was just hard for people to really gauge on how to breed him because they wasn't sure about the breeding. What's your thoughts on Zebo?
Well, there's people that seen him, that was around him. I didn't see him. I wasn't around him. But I know a lot of people that did. And there's two things. One thing is, the first thing is his style, or the Zebo dog style. His style particular, it's not like the Eli style of dogs. And physically, he don't resemble Eli dogs.
Right.
Like I was saying earlier, they got hound dog ears and a slope to their forehead.
Right.
Most Eli dogs have a longer, like a rectangular shaped muzzle. Zebo dogs, they got a half drop ear, they got a full stop to their forehead, and they got a short muzzle. And most of them back then fought the front end. I seen a couple, but they didn't remind me of Eli dogs. Now the other thing is another reason people think he's he's an Eli bred dog, because Eli was stolen, and then somebody, they made the breeding and they just added it to Vindicator and Ruby and that litter. And also, that's one of the best crosses that can be made is Eli Zebo. Even
Right.
Floyd used it. And I have a couple of buddies that have it, and it works real good with the Eli stuff.
Right.
I don't know, but just looking at him, if you look at his ancestors, Mike and Andy and Faye and all them, he looks like them. He's built like they are.
I mean, shit, he looked like Vindicator. He's just black.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, those dogs, they have a shorter muzzle. They don't have a long muzzle. They got a stop to their forehead. They don't have a slope. They don't have hound dog ears, and but it does work good with the Eli blood. As far, he was a good producer. It's just, over the years there's been so much written about him, so much negative stuff, because what happened, and this has shown ever since Daibo was around, is you can't really inbreed Daibo dogs. It don't work.
Yeah.
They tried it back in the day, Trahan and Tudor and Carver and a lot of people. You're better off line breeding it, outcrossing it, loose line breeding it. You might get some when you inbreed it, but for the most part, it don't work. The Daibo stuff does not work inbred. So if you see something that's inbred, Daibo heavy, it's either an anomaly and it happened to work, or they ain't really bred that way, because it's been tried over and over again. And that's what they did with Evo. They inbred them and inbred it. It didn't work. They mostly, what happens is they lose their air. They have no air.
Right.
Tight bred, they got mouth, man, and they're strong, but they don't have no air. They just lose it, for whatever reason. Some tech methods don't work, and that's one of them. But he threw some bad dogs, almost as bad as himself. He had a son, Champion Willie. He went into Cajun country twice and this and that. And they even made a statement afterwards. If I had to go into Willie and I had a 48-pound dog, I'd change my dog's weight to 46 pounds. They didn't want nothing to do with him. He was a head crusher.
Right.
The same thing with I think it was Champion Ruby, and there's another one. What was his name? Fitch's Champion something. Badass dog and man eater too. And that's one thing that the Zebo, they do throw people aggressive dogs too. My buddy's got one. The only one that can be around him is his family.
Right.
He will eat your ass up, but he's a bad dog. He's got mouth, and he's game too.
Mm-hmm.
But those are, and then there's a lot of them that which happens. They don't report the shows. They don't tell people how they're bred. There was, Billy Stepp had a bunch of them. Super Nat used them. Zebo stuff. So did Frank Rocca, and so did Dave Adams, and Tar Heel Matt. So there's some people that were successful with it,
Right.
But
right.
you know,
Okay.
the way he's bred, those dogs would tend to come out black more than they would red, you know,
Right. Facts.
because his sire and dam were black, you know.
Hmm.
But
Main event Mark. Salute to main event Mark in the super chat. Appreciate you, man. The 78 Ram got a dog man legend here. Hit the like. Absolutely. Hit that like button. I don't know why everybody being stingy with the like button. Maybe it's Facebook people not hitting the like. But yeah. But you know, any other dogs? You heard even Eli. I heard stories about Eli.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
because they're you know, he comes from big dogs, and most of the dogs behind him are not black. Floyd said there's dogs in his background that were black, and that's where the color's coming from, and that could happen, you know. But they question that. Floyd don't really have the reputation for the most part of doing sneaky shit, you know, or being
Right.
shy, you know. So it could happen, you know. The now there is Brindle behind there, and Brandy is Brindle. She's not black, you know.
Right.
So uh, there's controversy over that. You know, Eli's breeding. He was stolen and never returned. So there was a lot of dogs that were off of him that nobody ever told anybody out, but they matched. You know, I know some guys had 30, 40 dogs off of Zebo. You know,
Hmm.
uh, uh, Junior Bush had some, and uh, what's his name? Tom White's, I think. Wise, or I forget his name. But there was a bunch of them. Billy Stepp had some, you know. Billy Stepp's the one who used Ozzie Stevens' Homer to go into Jeep. And he was actually like a world-class race car driver or drag strip driver. They called him Billy the Kid.
Right.
So he had a lot of bank, and he could get good dogs, you know. He had Angus, Grand Champion Angus at one time, you know. Uh, he was buddies with Stinson, you know, Jim Stinson.
Right.
There was, you know, Stinson and Glover, the ones who had art.
Absolutely.
Yeah, after Glover got out of it, Stinson hooked up with Billy Stepp, and I know he used Zebo dogs.
It's a lot in my area in the Midwest. It's a lot of Zebo dogs. Um,
Hmm.
in my opinion, they're not really. I mean, you definitely can tell they're Zebo dogs. They look like Zebo.
Right.
They all got the same traits, you know, but you know, these are not working. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, you really got to know how to breed it. And like I said, if you line breed it or loose line breed it, you know, uh, it can work. You know, Dave Adams made it work. You know, he would take
Hmm.
Zebo females, breed them to art or breed them to kingfish or all that. Even Bobby Love, you know, I don't know if you know who he is. He was a famous dog guy back then. He used that. He crossed art and Zebo and kingfish and uh, some other stuff, and he was successful, man. He beat Dave Adams 3 times in one night. You know,
Shit.
and Adams was the hot dude back then. You know, he rarely lost, and
Three
he could
times in
afford.
one night. That's enough to piss you right off.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, he used Bobby Love. He used Cumberland's champion Freddie, who was a brother to Ozzy's Homer. He used him. He matched. He lost to Angus, I think, one time, or and I know he used him one time, or he lost to Freddie one. Anyways, they were, you know, them guys back then, they would trade dogs off, and this guy use it and that guy use it, or
Right. Right.
if you couldn't get a match, you know, a dog match, you'd let someone else do it, and that way they didn't know it was your dog. You know, they did that with Angus a couple of times.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Garcia, I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna go ahead and tend to some business here and go ahead and make me a grilled cheese sandwich. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm fixing to eat. I think we're gonna have chicken and rice or something. But it's
yeah,
always good talking to you. And you know, anytime you want to do this, just let me know. And I'm always home. I don't do nothing. You know.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll definitely hit you up, man, and let you know.
All
I
right, sounds
appreciate your
good.
time, man. Good talk for good game dog talk, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll do breeding next time or something. That'd be good.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's do that.
All right. Take care.
All right. Peace, brother.
Peace.
Salute to 88 Sports Talk in the super chat. Appreciate you. Said salute, fam. This show fire. Learned a lot. Hey, salute, man. That's what it's all about, man. About to get on up out of here, but check it out, y'all. Everything we talked about today was about historical references to the breed. Nobody on this panel or is encouraging or is actively participating in anything illegal. We just love this breed and uh, the historic relevance of the breed. You know what I mean? So if you are a person that believes that this is illegal and that's bad, this is bad, that's your personal problem. We ain't doing shit over here. We just chilling. We'll get with y'all in a minute though. 78 Sports TV. Catch y'all on Bulldog Sunday. We're gonna try to get that done this week. I'm up out of here though. Deuces.